Hi friends! This week I have 5.5 thrift flips to share with you that all have, if I do say so myself, some immaculate summer vibes. Also, if you're wondering why I don't have my usual mic and or why the audio quality is different, my mic broke this week. So I apologize if the audio is worse. I'm working on replacing it. Taro is eagerly awaiting his return to his rightful place. We thank you for your patience. Alright, let's just get into the video and meet this episode's contestants.
First up, this black structured tank top I made myself years ago. As you can see, my skills then were a lot weaker than they are now, and it is falling apart. This leopard print tank top making its record-setting 3rd appearance on this show. What upgrade is she getting this time? You'll just have to wait and see. This black mini dress, which I cut the sleeves off of about 4 years ago and have barely worn since for fear of accidentally flashing someone because the armholes are so big. These pearl beads, which I got at the craft store to replace some old DIY jewelry I somehow lost. And finally, this plain blue t-shirt with some irreparable sweat stains in the armpits. Stay tuned to see her powerful transformation into a whole new garment.
First up, I am working on this black structured tank top, which I originally made myself by hand like 3 or 4 years ago, with these straps in the back that open and close with buttons. But the buttons have fallen off so many times at this point, and the fabric has just enough stretch that I can get it on and off without needing to open and close the closures in the back. So I decided to just get rid of the closure and sew the straps straight across onto both sides of the top.
So my first step was removing the ribbon loops I had sewn on for the buttons to go through, and I just did that carefully with the seam ripper, and I only had to remove one button because the other one had already fallen off. I also seam ripped the extremely shoddy seams I had done on the ends of the straps, and then I just had to pin the straps to the other side of the gap in the back of this tank top and sew them down. And that was it! This one isn't that exciting, but sometimes thrift flips that make a piece more structurally sound instead of just cuter are the most useful ones.
Next up, we do have more of an aesthetically based flip for this leopard print tank top, which has already been altered as a dress in this video, and then turned from a dress into a tank top in this video, and now it's back. Because the issue is, once I turned it into a tank top, I realized how loose the waist area actually was. So for this flip, I needed to take in the waist so it actually fit my torso correctly, and then I thought it would be fun to add a cute little decorative detail. You'll see.
To take the shirt in, I just tried it on inside out and then pinched in the fabric to the point that it fit me against my skin on both sides and then pinned it in place. Then I just sewed along where I had pinned, angling outwards towards the bust. It's that easy, baby. That's it. Then I also thought this top would be so cute with some bows added to it. I don't know why it came to mind for this top in particular, but I decided to try just tying 2 little black ribbons in bows around the straps. If you wanted it to be permanent, you could also sew them on, but I like that this way you can remove them or add them to anything whenever you want.
And now, real quick before we move on to our next thrift flip, here's a word from today's sponsor, Skillshare. Not only have I joined Skillshare already in the past to help me learn graphic design and video editing, both of which I now do for work, but I was also already using Skillshare again this past month when they reached out to me about this video. Specifically, I had just completed Etsy launch, How to Open an Etsy Shop Like a Professional Seller by Tiffany Emery, which shows you how to maximize every element of your Etsy shop and listings. And it was so helpful in learning about like the back end and SEO, which will make launching a shop so much easier. A traditional 9-to-5 is simply not a one-size-fits-all. And Skillshare has genuinely helped me design a career and work lifestyle that fits for me over the past number of years, which has also given me more financial stability while doing the creative work that I want to do. The first 1,000 people to use the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so I highly recommend trying it out through the link below, and thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Alright, this next thrift flip takes a little more thought, but basically I wanted to take this black sleeveless dress and make the armholes smaller, because I literally got this in college over 4 years ago, cut the sleeves off, and then never ended up wearing it, because when I cut the sleeves off, the armpit hole stretched like just big enough that it made me a little nervous that I was going to flash somebody while wearing it. So as you can see me demonstrating here, my plan for this was basically to take in the front piece of the dress vertically at the chest, which would then take in the armholes.
So first I just had to hem these raggedy armholes. I did each of those with a zigzag stitch, and that already looked much better. Then to make the armholes smaller, I just folded in a horizontal section of the bust area to basically take in the front piece of the dress and make it shorter vertically. I just pinned it, folded over like that, making sure the edges along the armhole line up, and then sewed it down along those edges. Then, just to keep that fold in place across the chest and not just on the edges, I turned the dress inside out and sewed the fabric together along the fold. And I just loosely hand stitched this because I didn't actually want a super tight seam. I wanted more of that looser folded over effect. I gotta say, this was an experiment. I've never seen anyone do this before, but I think it really worked. You guys will have to let me know what you think when you see it at the end.
Next up, we are switching gears to make some jewelry with these pearl beads. Like I said, I got these from Michael's because I had actually made a ring out of beads like this forever ago, and then I lost it somewhere along the way. And I really wanted to make a new one because I think it's really cute. And in true Beep World fashion, I am making this ring without the proper supplies. I don't know what you're supposed to use to make a ring, but I used a bead landing pin that is really meant more for earrings. But it worked out fine. Let me show you.
Literally, I just strung these beads, alternating different shapes sort of randomly, onto a bead head pin that was long enough to wrap mostly around my finger. Then I just used my jewelry pliers to bend the end of the pin so it would hold the beads on and not dig into my skin. And then I just bent the whole piece of metal around my finger to make it a ring, with a little gap for adjustability. Then I also thought some small little drop earrings would also look so cute with these beads, combined with some larger pearl beads I had left over from some I thrifted a while ago. So I just laid out the order I wanted, strung them onto some bead landing pins, trimmed the excess length of the pin with my jewelry pliers, and then used those same pliers again to bend the ends of the bead landing pins into little loops to attach onto earring hooks. And voila, I had a matching ring and earring set. Plus, I still have many beads left over, so I am accepting suggestions on what to use those for in the comments.
Finally, our last project is this blue t-shirt, which I realized simply could not be saved from the armpit sweat stains, and also the fact that it's just a little tighter on me than I prefer my t-shirts to fit. So I decided to turn it into a tank top and add some cute extra details, which I really love and I'm really excited to show you.
First, I just traced a tank top I already have and love to cut a section out of the bottom to serve as the front and back panels of my new tank top, although it does appear I did kind of an unbelievably sloppy job with this, and that did make the top a little lopsided, but it's fine. Anyway, next I just pinned that open side down, right sides together, and then sewed it down, and now we have the main body of the top. Next, to make the straps, I first cut off some of the excess fabric of the remaining shirt, then cut down from the shoulders on each side to make two very long, very thick straps. I wanted to keep these straps thick so I could do some gathering to them, so instead of sewing them into tubes, I just hemmed the edges of each long strap. If you have enough fabric, I would recommend sewing them into tubes for a cleaner and sturdier structure, but if not, this worked fine for me. Then, once I had the straps hemmed, I wanted to gather them where I planned on attaching them to the shirt so they would sort of flare out as they extended up to the shoulders. This is just me showing you the general vision, but I ended up just marking where I wanted the gathering to fall with a pin, and then to actually gather the fabric, I sewed a loose straight stitch across without securing the ends, so then I could pull the thread and it would scrunch up the fabric like this. Then, once I had it gathered, I pinned each strap back on the shirt where I wanted it to fall, and sewed them both down with a straight stitch. Finally, I just had to attach the straps in the back too, and since they were so long, I decided it would be cool to crisscross them, so I just tried the top on backwards so I could see the crisscross in the front, and then pinned the straps down where I wanted them to fall. Finally, I just sewed down the back straps too, trimmed off the excess fabric, and we were done.
Alright y'all, those are all of our projects, all of our contestants' journeys that they went through. And now I am so excited to show you all their final transformations.
First up, this black structured tank top, which has now become actually structurally sound. I am so glad I do not have to worry about this top losing buttons and falling off anymore. That feels great. I also like that I can add those ribbons or buttons back on decoratively if I want to, but they just don't have to like hold the whole top together. I definitely might try tying some bows on these straps just like I did for the leopard print top. Speaking of which, here is our leopard print tank top, now no longer hanging loosely from my torso, but actually fitted to my body, and with these adorable little bows added onto the straps. Firstly, this just looks so much better on me now. I love that it actually fits me. And also, how precious are these bows? It makes it so much more cute and girly, but I also do like it both ways, and I like that this is a reversible option that I can also try out with all my other tank tops. Next up, we have this simple black mini dress, the fit of which is just so much better now, and now I am not worried about my boobs falling out of the armpits of my dress somehow. There is the slightest bit of puckering at the seam, but like, overall, I think it looks good. I actually really like having the seam across the chest. It feels sort of cool and sporty to me, which I am really into. And yeah, this is just such a great dress to throw on when you gotta be casual, but also want to look good. I feel great about it. Now we have our pearl beaded pieces. We have this fabulous little ring, so cute. I love a beaded ring. I feel like I never really see them, but I love to make them, and I think they're such a cool variation on what rings can be. And then, of course, the earrings, so dainty and sweet. They make me feel like a mermaid to wear, and I love the small, subtle, but slightly more unique earring. And finally, we have the crusty old blue t-shirt turned adorable little ruched strap tank top. I think this idea is so adorable. I gotta say, the execution is not my strongest work ever, just because I think the fabric is so thin and unsturdy that the straps are kind of tugging at the torso, and it doesn't really provide its own shape or shape to my body super well. But I do love this style with a little gathering. Overall, this is cute, and I would love to recreate it with a better material.
Please tell me in the comments which contestant you think is the winner. I feel like the jewelry is my favorite, but it also might have to be disqualified for not being thrifted. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do we have formal rules? I don't know. Oh, and if you leave a comment, watch another video, and subscribe to my little channel. I heard your favorite contestant of whatever reality show you're currently watching will win the next season. Do people win reality shows? Sometimes, right? I feel like even if they don't literally win, they can win spiritually.